proper man? The brother can ask the question again.
Okay, want me to start over? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, if Inky was saying here to be ruler over the earth, and Anusen and little ruler over the skies to correct everything. My question is, the Inky send you redeeming himself by sending his son Murdoch, showing that he can do things as said to be done, or did Anu send you, or master teacher?
Anu sends Inky, and Anu sends me. Inky couldn't send me anywhere. Because though I am spiritually related to Inky as his son, I reject everything Inky stands for because he opposed Anu. It was a strong decision because I was conceived through a reptilian wife of Inky as a disagreeable, a warrior, a defender. And I had to change my whole genetic structure, recalibrated so that I could work on behalf of the new, but act as a defender of the innocent at the same time. So I had to be given the ability to kill when killing is not in the Anunnaki's nature. Thus it was necessary to be born to Eve, who was a reptilian, and I'd have a reptilian mentality as well as an Anunnaki's mentality as far as agreeable, ya, and disagreeable, way. I'd have both of those attributes because this is what you have. You have both an agreeable nature and a disagreeable nature sitting in this room. And I don't mean there are some agreeable people and some disagreeable people. Everybody sitting in this room has agreeable in them and disagreeable. Everybody in there has a little devil in them. Everybody in there has a little God in them. In order for the being to come to you, to raise you up, they've got to have the kind of nature you have so that you can't trick them, because you're very good at it. Not this time. Nothing to resist. Don't want to triple. Anything else? The brother from Washington came down a long way, and people from Washington, I assume, are in the house. Good to see you all out here. He did a very good job. He's a good teacher. I know you'll learn a lot. Makes me feel good to see young brothers coming up, because nothing is sadder than seeing a purpose destroyed, because maybe the leadership harbors and controls all the information for themselves in order to look heavy. And then when they pass on, there's no one to pick up that baton and keep running. It's good to see that these young men are coming up, and I'm hoping to see some young sisters get up there. Not necessarily, young doesn't mean nothing to me, though. You know how I was. Young has nothing to do with age. It means in stages of learning. I want to see some of these young sisters get up and also teach and carry this word out, because I know you know what time we're in. I know you can see the world and conditions of the world. And needless to say, the clock is ticking louder than it ever ticked before. And time is running out. And I'm not going to preach doomsday. I'm not going to tell you that the end of the world is coming, the end of a kind of world is coming, the end of a kind of rulership is coming, and it's high time for it to go, so that the new world, and not new world order, but the new world can come into play where love rules and not emotions. All right? What else you want to talk to me about? Go ahead.
Me and some brothers was building on the idea of why is it we have to get back to a state of Wapu, and we were looking at it as a neutral state, okay? And I was thinking on that.
Sorry, you look at it as a neutral state.
Yeah, we look at it as a neutral state. We say in Wapu as a neutral state. And
whatever that means.
I didn't hear you say.
I don't know what that means. I'll go with you with that. I don't know what it means. Go ahead.
Okay, but I was looking at that and I was thinking, well, maybe while we're here dealing with this society, we have to focus more on our positive nature and suppress the disagreeable side of us, so that we could kind of like balance things out. Because I remember when you were saying that our planet has been surrounded by a almost disagreeable crystal-like energy thing, and I was thinking that if we were to focus more on our positive nature, suppress the disagreeable, will balance things out and allow us to be able to cope with the things that's going on in this society now. But later on, once we establish our state of Nuwapu, we would then be able to get back to that neutral state and then exercise both our agreeable and disagreeable using sound right reason. So if that's what's going on, is that why we have to focus more on our positive nature?
That probably a little heavier than what I would say. To me, sound right reasoning is already in each of us. What has happened is all our reasoning, our sound judgments, and most important, right decisions has been overlaid by theatrics. In other words, they took out reason and replaced it with belief. And in belief, if you try to reason out what you believe, you're usually called a blasphemer or a troublemaker. If you belong to a religious denomination, let's say Christianity, for instance, for starters, and you're a devout Christian, and someone attempts to assassinate the Pope, you follow? You say that's a very sad thing. That's a very sick thing to do. That's how you see it. And that is a way to see it. But in Nuwapu, the next way to see it is, why is the Pope ducking? You follow? Why would the Pope attempt not to die if the greatest of all glories is to be back in the bosom of God? And if you are the Pope, you're about as close to the bosom of God as most or any man could possibly be. You have to ask, see, what Nuwapu does is it raises that kind of question through reasoning that bothers people. Because it says, why is the Pope driving around in a bulletproof vehicle if him and God is tight? Why is he trying to tell me to be good in order to go to heaven to be with God, and he don't want to go to heaven? Billy Graham passed out giving a lecture, and he's on his fourth collapse. His fourth collapse. And he is fighting to live. He is trying to live. He's got all kinds of tubes in him, and breathing machines and heart pumping machines, and he wants to live. I would assume, get with me, I would assume that Billy Graham would want to die if Billy Graham believes in heaven. If he believes that when you die, you go to God and you go to heaven, why is he trying so hard to stay here? And the first thing that happens to most of the people in this room, once they become frustrated, is, I don't want to live. If they're religious, they don't want to go to God. Why is the Pope and Billy Graham and a multiple amount of other religious leaders, including my beloved brother, Minister Louis Farrakhan, standing around with a bunch of bodyguards standing around? Why doesn't he want to die if he believes in heaven? I don't believe in heaven. So I know some niggas can stand up with a gun right now and pull the trigger. So I got to learn to duck, because I don't believe. I don't believe in that shit. To be so God-fearing that you don't have enough sense to duck when a nigga stand up with that gun. But the men that say they believe that they're there's some heavenly abode that we all go to, and that God is there waiting to embrace us, and his son meets us on the way through the light. Why are they trying not to get there? This is what Nuwapo. Yeah, so it's not about Nuwapo being neutral. Nuwapo is that dormant presence of divine